You're listening to a Monster Kid podcast.
Hello. And welcome to Random Movie Roulette, episode 91. We are talking Wes Craven's 77, kind of one of his big early movies, The Hills Have Eyes. So that's exciting. We're going to be talking about that later on. We're going to be talking about DC Fandome. All of that's coming up in a little bit, but what I want to talk to you is about ways you can support Random Movie Roulette.
You don't want to put this right in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, we do. We have to.
We don't want to bring it right
on them. We don't want to wait and then make it seem like we were trying to hide it from them. We got the idea about 5 minutes ago. We set up an account 5 minutes ago. We have an OnlyFans account now. We don't know what this is for yet. But
for those of you who don't know what OnlyFans is,
it's for people to sell their nudes typically, or like videos of them like stroking it. So that's perfect for us.
For those of you in the $20 a month section.
So there is a Random Movie Roulette OnlyFans account. There's nothing on it yet.
I mean,
but
we do make videos of us watching porn a lot.
Right. So that's what I was going to get into. If you're a patron, something you're going to see populating your feeds very soon is a new patron exclusive show where
I wouldn't call it a show. It's like it's like 10-minute video.
It's a segment. They're fun little segments where we watch the porn parodies of the movies that we are covering on the actual episodes. So we've been doing that, and that's going to go on Patreon, but I don't know how much Patreon's going to like it. I don't know how much they're going to let us have like full penetration up on our Patreon page. It may not work out. So if that is the case, then OnlyFans is going to be how we're going to get that out to you guys, because they specialize in full penetration, I think. I don't know. So keep an eye out for our OnlyFans account and go to patreon.com/rmroulette. Throw us some shekels and get yourself some fun bonus content. All right. I guess let's watch the lovely trailer, The Lovely Bones.
For Westopher Craven's.
For Westopher Craven's The Hills Have Eyes.
Murdered, raped, burned,
Jesus
but
Christ.
not beaten. The Hills Have Eyes. The
Right out of the
story
gate,
of
that
one
shit.
family's refusal to die.
I'm gonna get those animals.
The Hills Have Eyes. A night of terror. A day of vengeance where no one was spared. No one.
God, in these trailers I just said.
Oh no, it's buffering.
What is
edit,
happening?
Can we edit this on the show, or?
Yes, we can fix this. Probably.
They wanted to see something. The Hills Have Eyes.
Probably not.
Mister,
We'll
don't
just watch
take
it
your
again.
family back in that area. The silver has been gone for 40 years now. Besides, there's nothing back in there but animals.
We're lost. The old creep told you not to get off the road.
What began as a vacation ended as a nightmare.
Be hell to pay now.
What was that?
Look at the characters mixed up. They all do look different. Yes, Jordan, Michael Berryman. Goddamn treasure. What a sweet, lovely man he is.
She thought she knew what the world was all about, but nothing
That was
prepared
really
her for
hard to watch.
this.
I don't like
The
that
Hills Have Eyes.
I do remember it from the remake.
Oh, you going with my baby?
Get out of the way, Dick.
A mother fighting for her child loses it in the worst possible way.
It's my favorite way anyone's ever shot a
I hit
gun.
him with a tire iron and I split his face wide open. That was a bad mistake, but I come back for you later, girlie. Why are you doing this?
The story of an American family who lost everything except the will to survive. Murdered, raped, burned, but not beaten. The Hills Have Eyes. The story of one family's refusal to die.
I'm gonna get those animals.
The The hills have eyes. A night of terror. A day of vengeance where no one was spared. No one.
Kill the babe! Kill me!
Yeah.
They fought back. Anything was a weapon. The family dog to the family car.
It's working!
The Hills Have Eyes. The most shocking, terrifying film you will ever see by Wes Craven, writer and director of The Last House on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. The lucky ones died first.
I'm pretty sure the lucky ones are the ones that live to the end.
Well, that was pretty intense trailer.
I also love old trailers where they would have like 5 taglines and then just say them all one right after the other. Where it's like,
Yeah, Mark just said, "Wow, 3 taglines
like-
in one trailer." The hills have eyes. Your skin will crawl. The hills have eyes.
from director Wes Craven, The Hills Have Eyes. You won't survive. The Hills Have Eyes.
Okay, so have you guys seen this movie before?
I have never seen this movie before, and again, we're venturing into a genre that I very publicly am not a fan of, which is the low-budget, schlocky 70s grindhouse horror. I know it's some people's thing. I've given a number of them a try, but like a lot of them, I try to go into at least this with an open mind, because I hate always just being the guy, and the only thing I have to offer with movies like this is like, oh, I don't like these like cheesy 70s low budget schlock movies, and I'm like, I want to like actually try to like give it somewhat more of a chance. And I don't know, I was watching this and I'm like, it's clearly like, it's very like slapped together from like a directorial standpoint, like, because I feel like movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which this was very obviously very inspired by, and then like Evil Dead after that, it's like there's movies in this genre that it's like, yeah, they have a low budget and like low quality film cameras,
but they
and
really
they
work
wear
with
it
it.
on their sleeve, and they also like they have like filmmaking technical ability to like elevate the material, like and their budgetary restraints.
Certainly, this is early in Craven's career, and I think you can see that like the skill's not all there yet. And I think this is before Nightmare on Elm Street, and so this is really really early on in his career. I don't think he's really honed his skills yet. I think you're right about that, because it's the great comparison to make there with a similar setting is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it's all that same color palette and everything is there, but it's still a better looking movie.
Setting, everything.
It feels more like a movie, even just in general.
Yeah.
Not that this is a bad movie. I don't really dislike this movie. This is the 3rd time I've seen this, I think. Every time I watch it, I kind of forget what it's like. And I think I remember liking it much more than I actually do. This time, I wasn't like super duper into it. I think the beginning is very slow. The 3rd act, it really does pick up, though. I think some wild shit starts happening eventually, but you really got to wait for it. Have either of you guys seen the remake?
No, I haven't, but I do remember like it being very kind of like heavily advertised on TV commercials when I was watching, and I remember thinking of like, oh, wow, this looks like so scary. Like I don't think I could ever watch this.
I remember this, like the name of this movie, like ingrained in my head as like
it's a fucking
one of the
freaky name,
scariest fucking things you can think of, because it was this and Texas Chainsaw Massacre had come out as remakes kind of around the same time.
Yep.
And then Zombies Halloween came out, and then I think people were just like, oh, remakes. I mean, they always suck, but
I think also
that's when people really got
I think that also like in that mid 2000s they were trying to like remaking horror movies for like obviously like there's like Halloween and Friday the 13th and stuff that they remake, which is like, big name franchise and stuff, but I think there's also like things like The Hills Have Eyes, the remake of like The Hitcher and like stuff like that, where it's like trying to like like taking an old like low budget horror movie and trying to like sell it to an audience of like teenagers like us who are like, oh, this as like a new movie,
trying to make House of Wax into a new movie.
I mean, okay, so I like the original and I like the remake of House of Wax. I don't think either of those are bad movies. I feel the same way about Hills Have Eyes. I kind of think the remake is better. I think it works a little bit more. It's definitely more disturbing than this, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it's really able to deliver on like the carnage that the premise promises.
But you
kind of.
like the Hills Have Eyes remake better than the Nightmare on Elm Street remake?
Oh yeah, no, I like fucking Mother better than the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which is true, but really only by a little bit.
But I think it's also like, I guess in the way that like this remake and the remake in this movie were marketed, like we just watched a trailer where it's like the hills have eyes.
Yes.
It's like, oh, watch out. And but like I guess like the trailer tone for the remake is like the hills have eyes and they're coming for you.
Yeah, I also do remember, in fairness, as like being a shitty kid, like it is a scary title, and I'm sure I was ultimately like freaked out by it. But we were making fun of this title a lot. Or I think like we
The
kept
hills
joking
have
like,
thighs and like
well, yes, if you want to watch us watch The Hills Have Thighs Patreon,
OnlyFans.
or OnlyFans, depending. Might be Pornhub. There might be an RMR Pornhub account soon too. We're really going down the drain.
Please, one person in the comments just tell us that it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
We won't do
And
it.
we'll stop. Mike
All you
really
have to do
wants
to
you
stop
tell
us.
this.
We take your
Brandon is in the chat. He says he loves 70s trailers, and that he says 70s trailers loved saying the name of the movie over and over. Yeah, and it's a fucking great technique. You'll never forget it. I think we kept pitching the sequel as like the corn has ears and shit like that, like bad agricultural puns.
The mountains have nostrils.
The mountains have dew. Just brought the
fields have
podcast
dew?
to a halt.
Like
Dew.
like
Mountain Dew. I was just making a Mountain Dew joke. It wasn't. It
was just
wasn't
it was just a very out of nowhere
Yeah, no, it
reference to
wasn't.
make.
All right. Okay. I'm allowed to have some
Doctors
missteps.
have pepper. Okay.
See,
whatever.
it's not fun
Fuck
when that
you.
happens to you, right? Fucking asshole. All right.
So you said like the movie starts off really slow. I think
Yeah.
that I would say like I don't know, the first like maybe like 20 minutes or so I was like I guess like kind of getting into it cuz you meet some of the family and then I think that dad character is just like so ridiculous and crazy and he's just screaming everything.
Well,
that, like,
I don't
And the-
understand him at all. Also, why did he? Okay, they should have. This whole movie never should have occurred because there's no reason why he should
Why
have
would you
run
drive
off the road.
when there's a bunny right there?
There's a bunny there, and then
Like-
also like why?
I think, well, I mean,
there's
there are also-
jets over you. Why is that encouraging you to drive faster? Why is that the thing? Were you
Yeah.
gonna outrun them?
Yeah.
That was weird, but also I think it's like the trailer was like kind of like got lopsided or whatever, and then that also caused them to crash or run off the road or something.
No, it's
Well, it was
literally
the
just
fucking
he tried
bunny.
to avoid a bunny. That's it. I had always
Yeah.
remembered like there was napalm or missiles or something that like went off on a range far away from them, and like they got startled, and that's what happened.
Well, there
But
were jets.
it's roadkill.
But yeah, it
It's
is
roadkill.
It wouldn't have even been roadkill if they had driven straight and
Yeah.
not. They were probably more likely to hit it after they swerved. Because if they just drove straight, they would have just drove right over it. Like it would have passed between the wheels.
Also, I know,
and it
that,
would have been
like,
fine. It's a very small bunny.
We are gonna say like the dad's being just a douchey
Monster.
dad. But the daughter also like shoves the map in his face while he's driving. Like,
Yeah.
you fucking idiot.
He's a fucking asshole. But like,
I love his
everyone
reaction where he's
is
like,
kid there,
"God damn
too."
it, get back there!"
And his wife is like the most annoying human being. Like if I was married to her, like I would be that angry all the time too.
Like this is because the idea of this movie is like, oh, the perfect like white suburbia
Yeah.
family. What happens when they're in trouble? I'm like seeing these family, I like kill them all, let
Yeah,
them all die.
fucking-
I
him-
mean,
let him go.
I like Bobby because I think Bobby's cute and looks good in booty shorts, but
he is rocking the booty shorts
Yeah.
the whole time. No getting around that.
and that actor, as I told Lewis to his disbelief, has 2 Academy Awards for documentary directing.
I still like don't fully believe you.
You can look it up, guys.
He does this thing to me
And
though,
it's
where
kind
he
of
lies
amaz-
to me very convincingly about movies and people, and then I believe it, and then I
This
feel like an
is-
idiot
this is
when
like-
like 3 weeks later he's like, nah, that
yeah,
wasn't.
but sometimes, I mean, come on. Sometimes you're just a big dum-dum. I can't help it.
That's fair.
I say Galactus is going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, I'll never
and you get
fucking-
an erection that could
Did you see that?
smash the New Jersey
I will
Turnpike.
never forgive you.
Did you
for
see that Galactus is going to be in Fortnite?
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
See, he's not making that up.
No, God, I wish.
Unfortunate.
I could
you
say
were.
any character is in Fortnite, and it's probably true.
happened, yeah.
It's like Daniel Plainview is going to be in Fortnite. His
Pippi
weapon is
Norman
Norman
Bates.
Bates and Hannibal Lecter.
Oh god, I would love that. Give me horror Fortnite.
But
Fortnite. No, that's
Fortnite.
horror.
I do
Night.
think this movie does
Or
a good job
night.
at least building the suspense that like there's something out there and you don't know what. Like I do like when the one guy goes to kind of the back of the gas station and like you see one of the cannibals like running around and scuttering and you're like not sure what it is out of the corner of your eye. I think it's good then. I do think actually
Right.
the third act is kind of where I think it gets goofy just because there's some dumb 70s music used in like,
Oh,
so
yeah,
much
I mean,
really
suspense
bad.
that's
I
like,
mean-
here's disco when we're like fighting to
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that why I was able to like at least get past it because like there was no point in which I was like getting immersed or like buying into this as being like an actual like suspenseful, scary horror movie,
Yeah.
and I was like, let it just be schlock because that's kind of what it is, and I think that that's why the third act is like it's at least a little bit more entertaining to watch. It keeps your attention a little bit more because they're just like constantly running and screaming and like.
It is a lot of running and screaming.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
But it's
about
still like,
that.
Bobby, don't leave
and
me.
then like
Bobby! She screams
looking
Bobby
for a
so
dog.
many times.
I think we should all say a prayer first.
Yeah, it doesn't help that there's literally no one to like in this movie.
No.
There's no one
Sounds
interesting.
like a 25-year marriage of awfulness.
I mean, honestly, like I said, I like the dad just for being like a crazy goofball, but he says some things that are like that is not okay.
dude,
And
he
that
drops the
drops
N word
the-
immediately. Like at the first sign of trouble, he's like N word and like
has
I
an
mean,
epic
I-
gamer
Runs off.
moment when they crash on the side of the road.
I cringed when they mentioned that he was like a retired cop, and I was like, well, you know what? Maybe he was a good guy, and then he drops the N-word,
Yep.
and I'm like, no.
Nope.
And he pulls out
ACAB.
his revolver that has like the American flag plated on it. Like,
Fucking Ohio people, and the mom complains that the daughter moved to New York City.
well, you know, they're ruffians out
Yeah.
there. You can't trust them.
We're the real monsters.
It is a
That's another,
jungle
like,
out here.
I guess
Urban
kind of
jungle.
theme that those movies try to work for. It's like, well, because like that family of like, you know, hillbilly like
Mm-hmm.
murderers or whatever. It's like, oh, they were like tested on with like nuclear testing sites, and that's why they're all fucked up and they're like out in
Yeah.
the wood. And it's like, oh, they're like the victims of like you know, the like capitalism or white suburbia or whatever like that. But it's like,
Or, I
they're-
mean, I think American imperialism
Yeah,
is the main issue, and like that's something that you see a lot more in the remakes. Like I think fucking Hills Have Eyes 2, the remake is like I pretty much about. It's not, but it is. It's a weird allegory for like our occupation of Iraq, which is fascinating.
yeah, I know that this movie was
Definitely
trying to
worth
be like
checking out
more
for
of
that
a
reason.
Vietnam allegory.
Yeah.
Because like they're going into land that is not theirs.
enemy
and-
territory, and but
Yeah.
they don't realize it's enemy territory. Really, like they're not really prepared for like the
Yeah.
danger ahead of them.
Yeah, like all this stuff that we're talking about, like it makes it sound like there is like a lot more
There's
like
not.
under this. Yeah, it makes it sound like there's more to this movie that's like, oh, there's a real allegory there. Like, oh, like is it like, you know, like Night of the Living Dead or something? No, it's like it's not really that. It is at the end of the day just like kind of like a schlocky B horror movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like any reading of it into like something, it's like the movie is not
Yeah,
concerned. with
you're
that
giving
at all,
it too much
so-
credit
No.
at that point. I gotta say, and I'm looking at this poster right now, and it just the costumes of these cannibals. Once you
ridiculous.
see them, like
Like,
that, all the
yeah.
scariness is gone.
No, yeah, that's my kind of like one of my biggest issues with the movie is that like I feel like the villain characters, like Michael Berryman, like I mean, the guy really does have like, you know, like a body dysmorphia like
Right.
condition, and that's why his face is like that, and it's like. I mean, like, good for him for being able to like make a career out
Also,
of like.
he doesn't have sweat glands. I was watching a documentary about him. He doesn't have sweat glands, and like they were shooting this like out in like the crazy heat, and they had like missed him and shit. Like it's crazy the stuff he went through to do this. He's also like the sweetest man. I've seen a lot of interviews with him, and every time he is such a genuine, sweet man who seems to be like really thrilled to have been a part of all of this. I guess there's always a worry with someone who has like some sort of particular like maybe disfigurement or like disability that you worry that they're being exploited in some way, especially when we're talking about 70s horror cinema. Like that's a big
kind of
time for
exploitation by nature.
Yeah. But he seems to really love the work that he was in, which is great.
Yeah, and like I said, like I think that like the idea of like selling him like he has like this actual like, you know, body like condition and selling him as like this is the face of like a scary horror movie. I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of it feels a little bit demeaning in that regard, but it's like, I guess it's like he has like a memorable presence just by like nature of him just as a person just being there.
Yeah.
But I do think that like I don't know, like the portrayal of the villains from like the writing and directing perspective is like it doesn't really make them scary, like because I mean like you said they kind of like look like they're dressed like the dumpster creature from Mulholland Drive.
I do think
With like, and I like, yeah, you said like that character is scary. It's like it pops out and it like really like scares you, but it's like, yeah, once you see like what the villains look like in this movie, it's like I don't know, all the suspense is kind of gone.
I mean, I do think Mars, the brother with the kind of afro and sharpened teeth, I think he looks kind of scary. But like the dad is dressed in like bones and like a fur vest.
Yeah,
and shit. The mom's dressed
Mama
in
Jupe.
just ridiculous stuff. It's just all
Jordan added that he always looks like he's having a blast in all his movies, even Weird Science or The Guyver. Yeah, definitely. He seems to love his job. We also had some suggestions for our bits. Brandon pointed out the fjords have ice. That would be a solid addition to our sequel for The Hills Have Eyes. Jordan suggests the iguana has scales. Not a bad one either. So thank you.
This is
guys
what we wanted with the
that.
Maniac Cop, where it's like, give us your best
please.
Maniac Cop.
maniac beautician.
Maniac beautician.
Maniac archaeologist.
Well, all right, what's the tagline for Maniac Archaeologist?
It's like, this summer, he'll be digging up your bones.
This summer, he's got a bone to pick.
This summer, you're extinct.
That is the winner. Oh, God damn it, Mike. Not Mike, Jack.
I had some good ones in there too.
No.
Yes, clap, clap, Mike. You get the Pelosi.
We're proud of
clap.
you. We love you. The Pelosi clap. What will henceforth be known as the Pelosi clap. All right. That just sounds like a
lot of
special
people she went to
strain
college with
of
got the
Oh wow! Oh, yeah.
We promise we're all Democrats.
Blue no matter who. Hashtag Biden. Blah blah blah.
we vote blue no matter
Hashtag settle for Biden.
who. Yeah. Please hashtag settle for Biden if you can. I don't know. If you're like a convicted felon, you don't have the option. And I'm sorry. I don't feel that should be the case. I think we should fix that. Biden might. He won't.
No.
But he might.
Better chance.
Anyway, this is so not what this podcast is about.
This is what our OnlyFans page is
Yeah.
about.
Oh, what if our OnlyFans page is just like us acting like political pundits and like watching like debates and shit?
Talking about wet ass p words.
We just reenact Ben Shapiro videos. Sweet Ben Shapiro takedowns.
Let's say that hypothetically, my wife would allow me to have sexual intercourse with her, and let's say that hypothetically,
that I would enjoy that.
Who's that really shitty Canadian guy, Jordan?
Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, we can also do Jordan Peterson.
Great.
One of my
yeah.
favorite videos on the
Plankton
internet.
doing Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
That's what we can use.
One of
your
my favorite
Plankton
videos on the
impression
internet.
for.
It's an interview with Jordan Peterson. Someone asks him. I think it's a woman interview. Asks him,
Oh,
it's like,
God.
what's your favorite? Who's your favorite author? And he says Dostoevsky. And then she's like, who's your favorite female author? And he just pauses for a bit, and then like it plays the thing where they cuts it out. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh, that's great. You have to send me that video. All right, Hills Have Eyes. We are splitting our time with DC Fandome, so this is gonna be a shorter segment than most.
Yeah.
There are still some things that I think we should touch on. One thing, Jack, me and you found this ridiculous. The way they sacrifice their trailer. They blow it up to kill
Their means
one of
escape
them.
to kill
And then
Papa
it
Jude.
doesn't even work.
It doesn't work, and then we cut to this fucking schmuck with the mustache who's like out like throwing rocks at the other one. Meanwhile, they're like
As
rigging.
the disco music that I so love plays.
Yes,
Yeah,
always.
And Ruby's just useless. Ruby, the daughter they couldn't name Uranus.
They try to make her like sympathetic, like she's trying to help them, but it's like I don't know. It just kind of feels out of nowhere. Like it doesn't really feel like I don't know. There's no like redemption for that
No.
character.
I think it's so fucking funny the way everyone hates her. Like every time she shows up somewhere, they're like, "Go the fuck away, Ruby! God damn it!" What, you think just because we're about to die, we want you here to help us? Absolutely not. They are so like every time they won't let her inside the cave. The other cannibals like won't let her come and hang out in the cave. It's really, really mean. But to your point, Mike, you say that like it's they build up suspense so you don't know what they look like. We see one of them right in the beginning, and she just looks stupid too. So I would never assume that they're going to be anything more than that. I'm like, oh, like they're a bunch of other dumb
Just
hillbillies.
a bunch of Barney Rubbles with a taste of
They're
human
dressed
flesh.
like Barney Rubble.
Hey, Fred, I'm gonna go rape this baby.
They were going to eat the baby. There was never a plan to rape the baby.
Barney.
This isn't a Serbian film. God damn it.
Do they do that in a
Yeah,
certain-
that's
Yeah.
kind of why that's like a very like
It's a pretty rough
disgusting
scene.
information. Oh, speaking of which, I know Lewis, you saw that.
Oh, in fairness, the baby's dead.
I know, Lewis, you saw that the Solo the criterion for Solo has gone out of print now.
Yeah. Good riddance. Oh god, I was telling Cash about that today. He's like, I've been dying for it. I'm like, I wish I knew. Like, my
And
fiance
you were
made me get rid of it.
about Q who. What's
Visitor
it called?
Q, yeah. Visitor Q
and
is
poop.
pretty fucked
That
up,
was your
too.
thing. I was about to say you were complaining about QAnon, and then
I'm always
That's
complaining
not
about
what it
QAnon.
is.
Yeah, I mean the poop in Visitor Q is different. It's differently used than the poop in Solo. Why do we watch these things? All right.
Did they like release some kind of statement as to why they're taking Solo out of print, or are they just like retracting it and just being like?
I don't know. Yeah, that's actually
Was
a
it
good
an
question.
actual decision, or what? Is it just like
It's just not
out of
selling well
print
because it's
now?
repulsive, which is reasonable. Apparently, it's going for like $80 on eBay according to Cash. So
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a in
it's
demand
a
thing.
collector's item, I guess. I don't. I felt so gross after watching it. I didn't want to watch movies for like a day or two. It was pretty gross. Also, this is not what we're talking about. Hills Have Eyes. We're back, babies.
I mean, they're kind of. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like hyper exploitation because there's a rape scene in this movie, like in
Yeah.
almost any Wes Craven thing. It generally
It's pretty fucked up.
almost always
I
ties to
think
stuff like that.
like in the remake, I remember the rape scene, and that really disturbed me when I was a kid. And then I remember the second movie, I think, opens up with the victim of that scene in the first movie, her giving birth to a mutant baby, which is like very disturbing. I could be misremembering this, but that's how my dumb child brain took it in. Which is like what an awful trail. Although I also remember kids trying to go see The Last Mimsy, and they were in the theater for that, and they accidentally played The Hills Have Eyes too, and they just saw this woman shoot a fucking mutant baby out of her vag.
I actually.
That's great.
I used to think before working as like a movie programmer is like, how do you make a mistake like that? So-
And now you're like pretty
and now,
easily.
yeah, I understand. Because I actually did that. And I'll tell the story now because I don't have this job anymore. But
Yeah,
like when I was a projectionist, and it was like because they set these movies at the same time, like at like 9:50, like and throughout the whole day. So it was like both was like 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock for both movies. So the movies were Ready or Not and Blinded by the Light, which I guess. I mean, Blinded by the Light.
At least it's not like a kids movie.
And it's not like anyone was really seeing that in theaters. Although I do feel bad of the people who wanted
I
to see
went
Ready
and
or
saw
Not.
Blinded by the Light, and I wish you'd had played Ready or Not by accident instead.
Ready or Not's real good, by the
Yeah,
way.
real fun
Ready
movie.
or Not's amazing.
All right. Guys, I think it's time we wrap up Hills Have Eyes. We're about halfway through this episode. Do we have closing thoughts?
I guess.
Fine.
Yeah, I guess for me it's just like again, this is not a genre that I like. I don't like being that guy where it's just like that's all that I take away from this. I tried to like at least like engage with it on some merits, and I'm trying to see like the influence of like Texas Chainsaw and like where it came from. But it's like I guess at the end of the day, it's just like as a horror movie, like I just don't care about
I
it.
think
It's
even as fans of this genre, we would
Yeah.
both agree that like
That's-
with you,
there are
that
better
there's-
movies in
yeah.
this.
Watch Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I don't find it like a completely like unenjoyable movie. It's Craven, and some of that charm is there, and I think It's a pretty interesting movie.
It's more of a
for its
title
time.
than a movie, though, as far as its legacy goes, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say if you have to choose between watching this and the reboot is, I think, if you want like something like a little genuinely disturbing, from what I remember, the reboot's the way
Although
to
I
go.
can imagine that like that mid 2000s era of horror just trying to be shocking for like
Yeah.
and disgusting for the sake of it, like the following Saw and Hostel. Like
yes, the gore porn era.
again another area of horror which I don't
Yeah, that
really
I
jive
can't
with.
do.
Oh, I can. I don't love it. A lot of those movies don't just don't turn out good. But like I don't know. I like Hostel. Hostel's pretty cool. It's I think scarier than Saw.
I don't know. I like the first Saw.
inherently.
At least the first Saw had like a creative setup. It wasn't all about
Yeah.
like the gore porn at that point.
Yeah.
But
I just remember seeing one scene where there's like a scalp ripping or something on Saw, and I was just.
I
like,
just my problem with Saw is just like I like James Wan a lot as a director now. I think he did
And
a
I like
really
Lee Wanell.
bad job directing that movie.
Yeah.
And yes, I like Lee
I
Wanell
think
too.
that franchise just and Spiral we're getting next year. Remember that was going to.
Oh yeah,
we
Chris
got
Rock's
Jigsaw.
Spiral.
And does anyone remember Jigsaw?
There were laser collars.
I remember the
that
pretty
about
much
it.
it review that like made me cry. If you haven't seen it, Mike, you should definitely
Wait,
check
what?
it out. Pretty much
Oh,
it had a
for
review.
Jigsaw. Oh yeah, because he had a
that was
real,
his last
like,
review.
Yeah, and I know he had like a big affection for Saw. I think like Saw 3D. He also like when that came out, he had like I guess a big like send off type of thing
Yeah.
for it.
This was like a I'm giving up kind of video. Is really disturbing, and in like a Saw theming, definitely worth checking out. If you guys don't like pretty much it, or if you don't
I've
watch it,
never
you should
heard
check
of
it out.
it.
I mean, it was basically like the show that the three of us do now, but in like 2010.
Yeah, and it was focused on movie news, like specifically, which we're about to do.
Yeah.
As we move on over to the DC Fandome.
Fandome.
Welcome, we're here. Look at that
I
fucking
wish
nightmare
that like
of a logo,
the Legion of Doom dome was beneath it, so then it would be an actual dome.
dude. Next year they should do Legion of Dome.
Legion
that would
of
be
Dome.
fucking great. That sounds like a bunch of people who give really good blowjobs. All right.
So
We
it's-
watched. Did you guys watch any of like the actual like live stream?
I didn't know that.
No.
All I knew
No.
was all I saw were the trailers that got popped
I
up
watched
afterwards.
as trailers came. So Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, the Batman,
Right.
the tiny Black Adam snippet, the little details of Flash stuff. But I remember I did tune in at 1 second, and they were talking about Sandman. And as much as I know people love Sandman,
Not for you.
I know nothing about it, so I was just like,
Sandman's really cool.
Yeah.
I think worth checking out. Neil Gaiman, anything is fantastic. I watched a lot of the stream actually throughout the day as I was wrapping up my Persona 5 Royal playthrough. I just kind of had it
How
playing
long
in the
did this go
background.
on? Was this like a big? Was
This
this
was
like
like
an
12
E3?
hours. It was about 12 hours. It's supposed to be 24 hours, but they are going to have a second date for it in September, which will be like more low profile,
TV
comic
stuff.
focused and
did
TV
they
focused
talk about?
stuff.
Because I know they talked about Titans season 3. Did
They
they
did.
talk about Doom Patrol at all?
They didn't. I think the Doom Patrol panel was moved into September. I could
Yeah,
be wrong, but I'm
yeah.
fairly certain it was. And I have a feeling they're not going to reveal much. I'm sure they will announce a renewal
Yeah,
because
that's
the show
that's
is
just
popular.
my concern.
What I saw that was really cool. I watched. I caught the tail end of the Wonder Woman panel. That trailer is fucking great.
It's a great trailer.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I guess the only big change in it was how do you feel about Kristen Wiig?
Oh, I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to look that fucking good. I kept seeing those stupid fucking like Barbie dolls that they kept, and I was like, oh god, she's gonna look
and like the
Kristen Wiig in a
promotional
cheetah
kid
suit.
art, and she looks great in the CG.
Yep.
I didn't watch the whole trailer. I did see like someone retweeted like the snippet of the trailer where she jumps in, and I was just like, "Oh my god, it's the Jellicle cat."
I mean,
that
there are
that
people
screenshot in
who
particular
tried
is
to shit
worse.
on
You don't
it,
watch it.
and, Yeah,
I
but
think it looks cool.
it looks better
Maxwell
than
Lord
Cats.
looks dope.
the
Even
villains seem great in this. I'm
Yeah.
excited for that White House fight, whatever that is.
yeah, I'm
I
bummed
even-
Steve Trevor is back.
But that's obviously gonna play into like a part of Maxwell Lord's whole get whatever you want plan thing.
It's
It's
I don't
such
know.
a good trailer.
I wish
The
they didn't have
lines and
to.
everything, it's
Yeah,
this
it
movie.
looks really cool, and the panel was really great. I love listening to fucking what's her face talk. Patty Jenkins talk.
Yeah.
She's fucking awesome. She did after that they did a panel with her and Venus Williams. And like they were just it was really really sweet, and they were just like talking about like what their idea of a Wonder Woman is, and they both kind of like named each other, which was very sweet, and like they just like talked about like how the character kind of like impacted them growing up. But there was a lot of like great like in between stuff. Like aside from like the big movie announcements, there I was like actually really impressed with like what they put together. The in between bits as they're throwing you to like the different panels are like really awkward and really uncomfortable. But
Didn't like some people play like games and stuff like that.
they did that for the Suicide Squad panel, which was weird and
Was that
unnecessary.
for the Suicide Squad game? There's a Suicide
For the
Squad game
movie,
coming out, right?
not the game.
Yes, they did it
Right,
for the
yeah.
movie. So yeah, let's go move on to that because I think that was one of the earlier ones. They did have a panel for the Suicide Squad. No real footage of the movie. We got behind the scenes
Lots of
footage.
B-roll, lots of.
We at least got to see what the
We got
characters
to
would
see
look like.
costumes. We know who the characters are.
Yes, and it looks like the main character is Polka Dot Man, and I'm fucking
He
here
was
for it.
featuring, pretty heavily. Harley looks like Harley, which
Yeah.
I've been waiting for.
The best looking
It's still
costume.
Margot Robbie, though, right?
It's still Margot Robbie.
So she does look so.
No, but like she has
The
like
costume.
the actual comic book like red and black cross patterned like super suit thing instead of like punky girl.
Yeah, like a t-shirt and
party
booty shorts.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
fine, I guess, but like
Yeah.
Who is of the new characters? Who is the one that you're most looking forward
So-
to?
Polka Dot Man.
it looks like Nathan Fillion is a version of Arm Fall Off guy. So I am really looking forward to seeing Arm
honest to
Fall
God,
Off
He's gonna
guy.
die because it's Nathan Fillion. Nathan
Oh,
Fillion
no,
dies
no.
very early in things.
I know.
I'm excited to see King Shark just because I've liked King Shark in the Harley Quinn
Yeah.
series. So
I think mine is Pete Davidson.
who's
Yeah.
gonna be dead in 3 seconds?
Yeah, he even said he's like I shot for a
Yeah.
day on this. Like
Sean
he's
Gunn's
not lasting
Weasel
long.
won't last long.
Oh, I hope Sean Gunn's Weasel lasts long. I want Weasel, and you know what? I think he will.
Who's
don't
it? Is
know-
Idris Elba playing Deadshot?
No,
No, he's playing
fucking
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Yeah,
So Bloodsport's whole gimmick in the comics, just I do know this because they had like a Superman encyclopedia when I was little in my library. His whole thing is he has a gun that shoots kryptonite bullets.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean-
all I know about that character.
Bloodsport is, from what I understand, I've seen him in like the animated stuff. He's popped up a few times, I believe, and in that, he is a lot like Deadshot.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think I think this script was written with Deadshot in mind, and they were just like, we can't do Deadshot.
I don't think
Let's
that's
just
the
swap
case.
it in for, say, it's Bloodsport.
James Gunn talked a lot about like the specific run that he was basing it on and making it a sequel to, which Bloodsport was, and that's actually
Actually
such
a
a
part
cool,
of.
yeah, that's such a cool idea. Is that this is a sequel to the comics run that he loved. Like that's such a cool thing. I'm sure it won't, alienate you, but
Yeah.
to know that he had that in mind, he seems to really be excited about this, like
I'm
way more
interested
than he
in
was about
seeing what,
Guardians.
Like, Peter Capaldi is as like thinker and like
Peter Capaldi's thinker is brilliant casting.
Yeah.
that's gonna be really cool.
We don't know who Taika Waititi's playing. Could be the villain, but probably not. But
Yeah, because the villain is we're thinking.
What if he's the Joker?
I really.
I never
hope
want to
not.
see him again. I never want to see the character again. Can we fucking be done with him?
3 Jokers released yesterday.
There was actually a really cool scene in it.
Yeah.
That made me. Do you
There's
know what
a
I'm
few
talking
really cool
about?
scenes, yes,
That
yes.
made me fucking tear up. But yeah, I'm done with that character. We can put him to bed forever. There was also what's his name, Michael Rooker as Savant, which is he looks so ridiculous in the wig and everything. I don't know. The movie looks really fun. From what we've
Yeah.
seen, it looks like a good time. I like James Gunn movies.
I really hope Captain Boomerang lives. That's my.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
just think
holdout.
that-
Jai Courtney was the one saving grace, I think. For
Yeah,
me,
he was so
outside
good
of
in
Margot
Suicide
Robbie
Squad.
the first Suicide Squad.
I think that I don't know. I think that's just the weird thing to me is that like they're like bringing over some of the cast from the first Suicide Squad, but then it's like completely overhauling the rest of the cast. It just like I don't know. It just feels like a weird
the Suicide
reboot.
Squad's pretty interchangeable. The only essential thing is that like Amanda Waller's in charge
Yeah.
of it and Rick Flag is there. And really, I would say Deadshot, Harley, and Boomerang are the only core members. Deadshot's obviously not in this one, but
Which
Yeah.
again, it
King
also
Shark is-
that's also what kind of makes it feel like it's like a more of like a low rent, like kind of like unofficial sequel type. But they'll
I feel like it's higher rent because
Yeah, this is-
everyone looks
No, no,
in
no,
much
I mean-
better
this
costumes.
this looks
and
so cool. Like this looks way cooler than the original
I'm
Suicide Squad movie
instantly
ever did.
Excited seeing this thing.
And yeah, fucking Polka Dot Man. That's such
Yeah.
a fucking ridiculous thing.
Do we want to talk very quickly about what you think the villain
Oh,
might
yeah.
be? That it might be
It looks like
Starro.
the villain is Starro. There's like a screenshot going around the web of a gentleman on a stretcher, and you can kind of see something purple and like two straps like on his face, and it looks like Starro. If this is a Starro villain, that's awesome. That's so
I'd
cool.
love it if it was like a Free Willy Starro scenario with like someone has Starro and they have to save him.
Yes, dude. If we get Jarro out of this,
Jarro.
fucking game over. If you're not familiar with Jarro, Google
like
Jarro
the
right now.
Baby Groot of the DC universe.
The best Robin. I thought it was Damian Wayne, but it's Jarro. Can't get enough of it. So moving on. There was also the trailers for the games. The games look fucking great. We're not a game podcast.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into it too much, but Gotham Knights from WB Montreal looks fantastic. And
Suicide Squad looked fine.
Suicide Squad just had a cinematic trailer coming out 2022, next gen. It's the guys who made the Arkham games, and it takes place within that universe. Looks cool. Sunset Overdrive. I think both are pretty exciting, but whatever. Then after that, there was
this short Black Adam thing, just
Right.
of The Rock
concept art.
promoting Black Adam. Also, the Flash concept art.
The Flash one was interesting. Yeah,
I think just seeing him next to Michael Keaton, seeing that he has a more streamlined costume.
I was gonna
now.
say that costume looks so much fucking better.
Yeah, than Super Armor Man.
Yeah.
I guess
really like it.
as we just talked about this movie, we should talk about the Snyder Cut trailer,
I love it.
which we forget. I
I fucking love it. I cannot wait for this shit.
Dark Side looks of
And I love the Hallelujah thing.
No,
that
it's-
just seemed like such like
Zack
fuck you
Snyder
guys.
is
directly
He's-
from Watchmen.
He's
I'm just
being
thinking
a
of
troll.
sex.
Like he is literally
Yeah, he
trolling
is.
with this.
He's so fucking happy. Good for him, man. I don't know. Like this is a
and
great
I
thing
can't
for
wait
him.
for
I don't know,
Ava
when he
DuVernay
tw-
to come in and shit all over it.
I don't know. Anytime he like retweets some like movie journalist is like, "Hey, I don't think this looks that good," and then he's like, "Oh yeah, well this is a movie for grown-ups. You like your stupid baby
yeah, that's
movies."
really annoying.
Like,
yeah. Yeah, he's
Is he
a
like
jackass,
Hugh
but
Ball, but like slightly more bearable?
yeah. he's the high budget Uwe Ball. I think this looks really cool. I love Batman v Superman though, and I'm excited to see an actual sequel to it.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know what? I'm excited for you. I'm excited
Yeah.
that at least tonally it'll fit in whatever
Yeah.
his warped vision was.
And they announced it's going to be a 4-hour-long miniseries broken
Yeah.
up into 4 episodes. So cool.
I'm excited to see Joe Manganiello Deathstroke. If that's
Yeah.
not in it, then I will be.
Yeah, they didn't show that in the
Fully,
trailer,
I
which I'm
know.
surprised.
But I'm surprised they showed Darkseid just right. But I mean, you know, I guess
Right.
he figured since they
And
won't
you
be
don't like the
following
look of
that-
Darkseid, right?
I absolutely don't.
I think he
about
looks
as
really
good
cool.
as he did in Smallville, for Christ's sake, which was just all gray rock man.
Right. I think
His
I like the
fingers
look. I
look
think
so
he does look a
fat
little bit
and
more
sausagey.
organic. I like the way like his body kind of becomes like concave as it goes like below his chest.
I don't know. I just wish all like the Apocalyptians looked as individual as they do in the comics, whereas here it looks like they're all gray, grotesque people.
Yeah.
It's like there's someone who looks like it might be Steppenwolf in a hood, but I'm really worried that it's Desaad, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh god.
Jordan commented, Snyder cut, it looks more joyless than the original.
and listen,
yeah.
we
Big time.
we did a whole. We just uploaded the last episode of Justice League, and we dunked on the movie for being like for having no tone and being like goofy and like schlocky,
Yeah.
and it's like, but it's like this is again an overcorrection to the extreme other end where this is just such like this self-important masturbatory fashion project where it's like he's playing the fucking song that he fucking bastardized and then like and it's like everybody's like all sad in slow motion and like
It looked so cool. Okay, look, I get it. I get that there's no need for it. But
Yeah.
one, they're not gonna make the movie fucking worse. That's impossible at this point. Like literally, the only way you can make it worse is if you just cut out entire
Extended it into
scenes.
4 hours.
that's at least that's like again that's okay. You know what? That's also another positive is that like it's technically a mini series. Well, then it's not a movie. I don't have to watch it. So
It's
You
like
don't have to
having-
watch it
Yeah.
anyway.
I
No
wouldn't-
one was
you
ever
don't.
gonna make you watch it. If you want Joss Whedon's Justice League to be the thing, then fine. If you don't care, then ignore it. But like, this is exciting.
But
I don't know.
Yes, connecting to HBO Max, they announced one other thing coming to HBO Max, which will tie to the final trailer because they announced the Gotham PD series.
Well, they had announced this earlier, a few months ago. They announced it. They kind of talked about it a bit more during Matt Reeves' interview thing near the
there's-
Batman panel.
if there's any type of show
Not
that
to
we
make
don't
right
want to
now?
watch
It's
right
a
now.
cop show.
Yeah.
I tried watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a show which is very good. It's a very funny, fun sitcom, and I cannot watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, we're just pretending the NYPD are cool, like this cool,
Yeah.
diverse group of friends that go out and have wacky adventures and don't like, horribly like oppress a specific people. But that's not
Not
the
like
point.
Batman's not a horrible
Oh,
oppressor.
but
though.
that's exactly
But
it.
that's
and
why
that
making
seems
a
to be
Gotham PD show is so
ridiculous.
tone deaf right now.
Yeah.
Like,
And also, it seems like that's something they're addressing in this movie. Like during the interview, Matt Reeves said like
in the Batman movie or the Gotham show?
the Batman.
Well, both, because in the Gotham show, the protagonist, for better or worse, is going to be a crooked cop.
Yeah,
So-
that's what it seems to be. What I was getting at is that like the premise of the Batman, this is year 2, and he's realizing that like his year of work as Batman has not fucking fixed anything. Like Gotham's still shitty, and like his methods maybe like aren't working. So I
And-
appreciate that they're like maybe like gonna take a critical look at that character and be
Yeah.
like, you're a rich guy who instead of like just ending
Donating.
world hunger,
Yeah.
you decide to go out
Decided
dressed like a bat
beating
and
up.
cry about your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue into the Batman trailer.
Yes, which is
Which-
fucking awesome.
I literally did not think that I could ever in my life give a shit about another dark and gritty Batman adaptation. And to be honest, like visually, it doesn't look much different from like the Christopher Nolan Batmans or even like Ben
I think
Affleck's
it looks
Batman.
a little more stylized than the Nolan ones. The Nolan ones always feel like clinically clean to me.
Yeah, actually,
Just
you're
at
right.
least
Yeah.
After Begins, I feel like this at least feels like a mix between Begins and Burton. I feel.
I mean,
it
you
has
all
that
know how
kinda
I feel-
gothic noir feel.
Yeah, you all know how I feel about Nolan. I don't think I think we blow like way too much smoke up that man's ass, and I think it's really gotten to his head, as we can see with all this Tenet bullshit.
But I will say, but yeah, this trailer, it looks really cool, even though it's
Yep.
like in theory, it's exactly what you'd think it is. It's a darkly lit, like gruff
Yeah.
and gritty Batman.
But
dark.
why does he look so good in that
I'm just so
costume?
glad we can shut up every idiot who like didn't watch a Robert Pattinson
Yeah,
movie
since
ever
Twilight.
and just said like, oh, but he's gonna be the worst, and then it's just like, but watch this. He even does the voice better than Christian Bale.
Oh, that like growl he has when like they shoot him in the chest, and he goes like, "Oh!" It's so like, oh, it's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, of course, there's also like the scene of the trailer where he just like punches into that guy for however.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched
Yeah.
it.
But it's also like I think that's kind of what you're leaning into, where it's like Batman's methods are like barbaric,
Yeah.
and it's just like going into like the like I guess the like violent sociopathy of Batman as a
There-
character
it
that's kind of
also
ignored for a while.
Does look like that's kind of part of Riddler's whole thing, is like taking on corruption in his way. Because
Yes.
the person he kills, they revealed, I think, is the mayor, the former mayor, and then
Explains
you
why
see
the
this
house looks so fancy.
corrupt, whatever rando cop guy and stuff.
Right.
And,
I'm curious to know if he's gonna be duct taped for the full movie. Like if that's just like his
that's
Riddler
not
thing.
Riddler.
That's not
That's
Riddler.
the victim. That's the mayor. That's after he's killed him. Riddler.
no.
Oh,
not
really?
the,
When he
yes.
has the glasses and the.
Yeah.
It looks more like a face mask, though. It looks.
He's got like a face mask, but it looks like there's a duct tape thing underneath it. Like there's like a
Okay.
specific like military kind of mask that he's wearing, and then I don't know. It's like a confusing thing, but it's
Yeah.
over like a I think black duct tape kind of.
Yeah, and then
We-
he's just wearing a green.
He
Yeah,
looks actually
coverall.
like a little like the Telltale Batman games. Like a lot of this looks
It
kind of
does feel
similar.
kind of telltale.
It's also kind of seems like it's going in that same direction of the Telltale games, where it's like this is a detective story
Right,
with
yes.
Batman. This because that's what this, like you said, it looks like noir. It looks like Seven or something like that.
And he was very clear. I remember when he took this on, he wanted it to be as like film noir.
Yeah, and he wanted it to be a mystery, and he wanted it to be a detective
Yeah.
story. And they solved the riddle. The internet has solved the riddle on the thing. What does a liar do when he's dead? There was a bunch of symbols. Someone cracked that code. The answer is he lies still, which is a cool thing. The good time.
Yeah, I also
Fun
I
Riddler stuff.
they didn't give us a long look at any of the villain characters, but that one shot of Colin Farrell
as the Penguin, when I did not think he was gonna look good, and he does.
Looks great. I thought it would look like what's his name in The Darkest Hour. Is that the name?
Oh,
of the movie?
the Gary Oldman.
Gary
is
Oldman.
Churchill. Yeah.
God.
No, but yeah, that makeup job, because people looked at it, they're like, who is that guy? Because they're
one
like,
knew who
is that
it was.
Richard Kind? Is that like
that was the one everyone was like, that's Richard Kind.
Yeah, but then it's like, I think for a while, I think people were saying like, oh, maybe we haven't seen Colin Farrell yet. And I think like the makeup and VFX team, like on Instagram or something, confirmed that is Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
Look
they-
at the eyebrows.
They posted like this was so cool to bring this to life, and then like someone commented like it's not proof that that's actually Colin Farrell, and they're like, yes it is. They're like, how is it proof? They're like, we made him that. Like what are you talking about?
I also like how Zoe Kravitz looks as Catwoman.
Yeah.
I think the brief brawl that we saw between them looks really well done. And she has a whip. I didn't like that about
It's also-
the Anne Hathaway one.
Yeah, it's also I guess like kind of encouraging that she got the role of Catwoman for this movie, because she auditioned for Catwoman in Dark Knight Rises, and like literally racism cost her the job,
She
which
did
is shocking.
play Catwoman in Lego Batman movie, even though that's not even really a role so much as she just went meow, and
I believe that.
was it.
I think that the entire like Hollywood and WB is now just trying to like make up for not giving Zoe Kravitz
Yeah.
the role.
Yeah.
They're like, here, be Catwoman and everything.
Do you think we'll
Which
see
I'll,
like
yeah, cast her in everything. Honestly, she's watch High Fidelity. You didn't watch it, and then it got canceled after one season. I finally get one show that I like, and
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, it's gone now.
I should watch it because I just feel bad because I think the only thing I've seen her in recently was let's say Pretty Little Liars, Big Little Lies, and I think her character in that's just kind of written annoyingly, but
yeah, fair enough.
I did actually like her. I think she was one of the one good things about Crimes of Grindelwald, and then she dies in it. So you know,
God, that movie
She's one of the
is so
wives in Fury
unfortunate.
Road. She also
Yes,
has
she is.
She also has a great role in Dope.
and guys, she is
Yes.
also a SUNY Purchase alumni.
Oh, really? Did not know
Yeah.
that. That's news to
She
me.
did drop out, I think, but she
Good for
Hey,
her.
it's still
did
good enough.
Purchase for a year or two. So
Yeah. I dig the safe cracking shot, and then they show
Yep.
her with the
the balaclava that has a little pointed
Yep.
thing because they just look like cat ears, even though they're not supposed to.
You know what I'll
It's
say I
just
like about the
perfect.
Christopher Nolan Catwoman? I do like the goggles that like when they go
That-
up, they
Yeah.
make the
was
ears.
smart, yeah.
But then when she
I-
pulls the goggles down, she just
I
looks
do
like a girl with
the whole
goggles
cowl-
on.
Yeah, I do like the cowl look better than the '60s Julie Newmar.
I wanted like a long
look,
Halloween
but-
costume. I've been waiting for that. Catwoman.
Well, I mean, it kind of looks like that with like the way that like
But
the
like,
eyes
with
are cut out of the
full
mask.
whiskers and the.
yeah, like full purple.
I mean, what they have said, just to placate fans, I think mostly, but what they have said is like these aren't the final versions
No,
of these
yes,
characters.
yes.
No,
This
yeah,
is their
I mean,
year
yeah.
one,
Even
but, you
even
know.
looking at them, like they do look like they're wearing like they're wearing rags and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and
it's
like,
not-
but,
I'm,
like,
I
I'm
don't
not
give a shit if
holding
like
my-
Riddler looks like Riddler. Like, who fucking cares?
I'm not holding my breath for Colin Farrell to wear a top hat and.
Dude, you
full
know what's
tuxedo.
cool in the Arkham games? Penguin, instead of having a monocle,
It's a glass that's shoved into his eye, which is what I hope is in this movie because
fucking brilliant.
I think that's the one thing that always gets me in Batman Returns. I'm just like, but he doesn't have the monocle on
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. It's like I do want to see the classic Penguin look once. I do hope his umbrellas have tricks in them at least one. It's just a shotgun built in,
and I want
to an
one
umbrella.
wind up penguin. And if not,
Exploding wind up penguins.
that was a good line.
was
We're
a
gonna
good
get more
line.
of that in Snyder Cut. That was probably Joss Whedon's shit. All right. Well, the fandom was actually really cool. I actually really hope that they do more of this.
Yeah.
I think this is a fun event. Seeing as how we had like no E3, which would have been a fun event, no Comic-Con, which would have been a fun event, and like no big news things for this kind of stuff. This was a nice little aside.
I'm
still waiting for
very
Nintendo Directs.
excited for all this DC stuff next year. I don't know if I'd be as excited if this was Marvel because with Marvel everything feels so much
I mean,
the same.
every
There's
year it-
not the individuality.
I mean, every like 2 years at D23, they have their own version of
guess,
this, and then they
yeah.
show their big
Yeah.
calendar of all
You're
their
right.
movies.
And yeah, they had their big calendar reveal already, and I thought that was great. They owned the conversation after that. I think that was last summer when they showed off like Love and Thunder, and they announced like
Even though
Black
now
Panther
all that's
2.
just gone, like completely.
yeah, fucking. We'll get Eternals maybe
Kitty
at some
Comic-Con.
point. I can't believe Eternals is still coming. We still haven't seen Black Widow even. God.
no,
You just laugh because you remember that movie exists.
Yeah. Oh,
and it's
Jesus.
still supposed to come out this year.
It's supposed to November. We'll see. But it's gonna wind up coming to
Might
Disney Plus.
Go the Mulan way, yeah.
Mulan is gonna make a fuck ton of money on Disney Plus, and
New
I think they're gonna
Mutants was
try.
left out to dry.
I swear to God, if y'all pay $30 to watch Mulan on Disney Plus instead of watching the new Charlie Kaufman movie, which will be free on Netflix that same day,
I don't know why you act like you can't do both of those things.
Also,
like it will lock you out.
Also, the new season of The Boys starts that day, I think. So we're all
The new season of what?
The Boys.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Amazon.
Fuck yeah. I can't believe we have to do it weekly now. That's such bullshit. You told me that today, and it broke my heart.
Yeah.
We'll probably come on to talk about The Boys at some point. We're allowed to. We do a lot of wacky shit on this show.
Yeah, we do.
Speaking of wacky shit, we got one more thing to do here, and we
gotta
gotta
pick
figure
next
out
week's movie.
You're
This
damn right.
list,
This is
gonna be
list.
a wild week, no matter what we
There
get.
is one booby prize movie
There's
though.
one we're kind of like
yeah,
half and half.
let's
on.
get it.
It is a Monster Kid movie.
Yeah,
though,
and
so
let's
it's
get that out.
not,
We're getting that out of the way first. That's option number one is Mario Bava's Bay of Blood, which I think we might have covered one or two of his movies on
Yeah,
this.
not a Bava guy.
Either him, him
I
and
like
Fulci
him
just
better
kind of
than
like
most Italian giallo.
I like him
kinda
more
guys,
than
but-
Fulci.
Number two is Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Never seen it.
It's a wonderful film.
I don't believe you.
Number three, Jack vouch hard
I
for
vouch so hard
The
for
Long
this.
Kiss Goodnight
More like the long piss.
Goodbye.
in my eye.
Number four, a movie that we can all vouch for, Skyfall.
Probably the best Daniel Craig James Bond movie.
Yes.
The best James Bond.
Best
movie.
James Bond movie, I will say.
Yeah.
Sure. I've only seen like 5 of them.
Yeah, I've
across-
seen like 6 now. I'm pretty comfortable saying.
Yeah. Number
Moonraker.
5 is.
Did you watch Moonraker?
Yeah, you made me watch it.
No, I made you watch The Spy Who Loved Me.
No, you made me watch Moonraker after The Spy Who Loved Me.
I didn't make you watch Moonraker. I said you should watch Moonraker.
We watched it together.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
I would remember.
All right, this is beside the point.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right, number 5
Fight
is
later.
a movie we've long teased. Teased is an appropriate word for this one because it's Showgirls.
Yeah.
And then number
All right.
And number 6 is The Exorcist, a classic horror film I've never seen still. So,
Yeah.
I think you're gonna love it if
all
we
right,
get it.
so running them down again. Number 1, Bay of Blood. Number 2, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Number 3 is The Long Kiss Goodnight. Number 4, Skyfall. 5, Showgirls. 6, The Exorcist. I memorized that all off the top of my head. I didn't even check the list.
We're very proud of
And
you, Mike.
The
Gold
winner
star.
is 4, Let the Sky Fall.
All right.
Our second
Joe.
James Bond movie for the podcast.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe.
I guess it's also
third?
like I'm at a point where I'm like I can go back to James Bond again, especially because we didn't get No Time to Die this year, and I'm like, no, I kind of
We might. Don't.
Well, we didn't
jinx
get it yet.
You mother.
But yeah, we were supposed to have gotten it at this point, and I
Yes.
probably would have. I mean, yeah, I'm a little hungry for like a modern James Bond
little
again.
Duke
So
of Seven.
I'm not, but I remembered liking this movie, and then I was told it was homophobic, and I felt bad for liking it. So can't wait to.
Well, Jack can
Who
feel
do
that
told you
again.
it was homophobic?
I don't know. The only gay guy I knew when I was 11.
As the one gay guy now, I can tell you this movie's not homophobic. Of all the James Bond movies, this is the least homophobic.
Hell yeah! All right, take that, other gay guy. All right, thank you guys for joining us. Plugs. Let's plug some things. Plug it on up, boys. Go.
I am Jack on 35mm on Instagram, Jack Patterson on Letterboxd.
I am RMR Cyborg Mike on Twitter and Instagram and on Letterboxd. I write for beforethecyborgs.com. I think I might write a review for I'm Thinking of Ending Things. So you keep an eye on that whenever it comes out.
When does thing?
I think it's September 4th as it goes on Netflix.
The same day the Marvel's Avengers game comes out.
Same day that Mulan goes on Disney Plus.
Same day The Boys goes on Amazon Prime.
It's
What
a
a
big
big
day
day.
for every day.
Yeah. September,
Those the 4
guys.
genders.
I'm thinking of ending things. Mulan and
Avengers game, and The Boys.
The Bo-
Okay.
we'll
Well,
have a reveal party.
you can find me on Twitter at Louis J. Otero. You can find me on Instagram at RMRouletteLewis. You can find my Side Piece podcast, The Gory Picture Show, that I host with Brandon from Vericon Video. We've had these boys on it. We've had the Test Pattern people on it. We have a great time talking about really gross, weird old movies. So go check out The Gory Picture Show. You can find us on Twitter at RMRoulette. You can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/RMRoulette. Donate some money, get some good stuff. Our porn show. OnlyFans. We're on OnlyFans. It's part of the plugs now. Where we don't know what we're doing with it yet, but if you can follow us, if that's a thing you can do on OnlyFans, follow us on OnlyFans. We have a letterbox that we don't use. You can go check that out. You can also go to armroulette.com. You can find all of our episodes. Well, most of them. I think like the last like 80 or so. The first like 10 or 11 are missing. Hopefully I'll dig them up at some point. Thank you guys so very much for listening. Keep an eye on armroulette.com because that will be changing soon. We have Cody working on our website now. We're very excited about it. And we will have a little bloggy up there. So, keep your eyes peeled until then, until we can bring you some fucking goodness. What is the movie we picked just now? Skyfall.
And thanks for joining this week. If you joined us live,
Yeah.
thanks for watching it on
totally.
YouTube. Please give us
Our
some
homies
views
in the
on
chat.
YouTube. Give us some likes and subscribes on YouTube.
Yeah, like and subscribe to us on YouTube. The fuck are you guys doing? The episodes do come there eventually. I just posted the Justice League episode today. Amazing Spider-Man 2 will go up tomorrow. Takes a long time to edit them. They're videos now, so that it's a little bit more difficult to keep up with. But they will be there. They'll be populating your podcast feeds. Keep refreshing them, motherfuckers, in case you missed anything. But once again, thank you guys. We will be back ASAP, probably next Thursday, but maybe not. So keep an eye on our Twitter. And we can't wait to talk more movies.